There are no more shrimp on the planet.
Oh man.
Now what do? There's no more shrimp.
We find there's a lot of other fish in the sea. That would literally be my message to the company.
Price tag's still on there. And the name brand of the shirt.
Hello, everyone. On today's episode, I'm excited to be joined by Sara Stern. Sara is an EOS implementer who works with multi-generational family businesses, helping them bring clarity and accountability without overcomplicating the process. She's passionate about legacy, EOS, bad dad jokes, and doing right by family businesses. So, Sara, welcome to Fish Factor. How are we doing today?
I am so happy to be here. This is making me feel very famous. Thank you for having me here.
So we met at an EOS annual. Was it during or before or after COVID? I can't remember where it was, but it was a few years
It
ago.
might have been before COVID.
It was in
I think it
Orlando,
was.
and our implementer at the time, who's still a real good friend of mine, and we've had him on the show, was Nathan Fox, and he said, "You got to make sure
Yeah.
you talk to Sara. She specializes in family businesses." And I go, "There's a person that would do that? Why?"
Well, that's a whole different podcast about what's wrong with me.
So tell me, so what is it? What is it that you love about working with family businesses without the diagnosis?
Yeah. We'll skip the diagnosis. This is which is a long list of things, but for me, it's a very personal thing. I was raised by parents who said quite directly that it was my job to grow up and do something positive and make a big impact in the world.
Really?
And yeah,
That's
that was like
okay.
that's the job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck, kid. Go do it. I thought I wanted to be a teacher, maybe be a doctor or something like that. And then I realized I really like business.
Okay.
And my parents actually had a family business. And what I discovered is I think working with family businesses is the biggest way to make a huge difference in the world. There's
Oh, really?
more family. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is me bringing peace to the world, if you will. So there's more family businesses than any other kind of business. They tend to be really good employers. They employ more people on the planet than any other kind of business. So I figured if I could help family businesses be an awesome place to work and live,
Wow.
meaning live for the family members, then I'd be making a huge difference on the planet.
Okay, now I have a question that wasn't on my mind before, but it is now. So in EOS, you have core values.
Yes.
And we early on decided to make one of our core values family. And I'm always going back and forth on it because not everybody has the same narrative about what that means, right? Some people say, well, I came to work because I don't want to be with my family today. Other people are like, I love working here because I feel like I'm part of the family. And then there's employees that sort of like, well, that just means that we're working here for your family. We're not. We don't have the right last name to be family, and it's like it's a constant dance around the different stories and narratives to say, no. If you work here, we do consider you part of the family. But then there's a trick to that, right? So why are you treating them that way? They're family.
Exactly. That is a very tricky core value.
It is, and I keep going back. Should we really be more focused on building a team versus family? And I don't know the answer. Every time we just had our annual, I think 2 weeks ago, and this might be the first time it really didn't really come up, but it's always been a recurring issue. Is this the right core value for what we want to build as a company? So
that is so interesting to me. One of the things, for all the reasons you just said, there's also the plus side, right? We love you. We care about more than just, are you helping this place be profitable, right? I'm assuming that's your intention.
Yeah.
We care about all of you.
It's like there's also, we have a lot of employees who've been with us like 15, 20, 30 years. And some of their families work with us, like they have the kids are. Or you might sometimes hire somebody and then their spouse comes and works for you. And that can go either way. If there's a problem and one goes, the other goes too. If not, they're like, why'd you treat it? The dynamic is complicated. My wife's like, I'm never going to work there.
That's wise of her.
Yeah.
Really wise for your marriage, wise for the business, wise all around. I think that question of family is so tricky, because one of the things I always say, which I don't know, maybe I'm going to sink your core value, but I always say you would never fire your family member. You would fire your colleague, though. Like when I'm talking to brothers or siblings or uncles and aunts and whatnot, right? I say, you can't. I mean, there are people who fire their family members from being a brother or a parent or whatever. But ideally, in a healthy family, you're not firing them from that job, but you can and should from the business if they don't GWC it.
Right. That's exactly right. And or if something happens, there's legal distinctions there, right? So you got HR issues, like that's a no. That family doesn't trump the law. It's like we could do
exactly.
I had a mentor, he still is, and a good friend that I studied business with for a long time. And he said something that stuck out to me, and I think he said it like 20 years ago. And it's how I know Nathan Fox, as a matter of fact. It was the same teacher we had. He said, husband, wife, parent, mother, father, daughter, sister, whatever, there's a distinction between the title and the role. Like you can have the title of parent, but that doesn't mean you're holding the role that a parent is obligated to hold in that position. And that really shifted my thinking. I'm like, ooh, that is deep, because we forget about that. You're like, well, it's my parent. I've got to do whatever they say. And yet you're bitter about it all the time because you're conflicted. It's like, I don't think they're supposed to treat me this way, but they are a parent. And sometimes that can go all the way on to being like in your 50s. So both my parents have passed away. So I'm saying this, like, I don't think they're going to call me later. But it's like
be careful. They might.
Yeah, I might. I did get 6 flat tires last year. I don't know if somebody following me around, but there's it could get really complicated, and being centered and grounded in like who you are and what matters and what your core beliefs are, like, which is why core values are great. But I do go back and forth. I'm like, family could be a complicated core value, and I've seen arguments for both. Like, have you dealt with any businesses that have family as a core value?
I've been in that conversation. I don't have any who have picked it. And it probably is because of me, because I've said you would not fire, I hope.
Yeah.
You would not fire your sibling, your aunt, your uncle, your parent, your grandparent, but you can and should hire your colleague. And what my teams who wanted that or considered it was, what we did is dig down, which I'm guessing are the bullet points under your family core value. What is it? What do we mean when we say that?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember the exact core value, but I had a team pick something like care for the whole person or something like that. That was what they were trying to get at, is we don't just care if you come to work and if you're productive and if you're nice. We actually care. Are you healthy? Physically, spiritually, emotionally?
Oh, that's good.
Can you take care of your family? That's what that core value was for them. So it was something like that: care for the whole person, or
the
care
name
for all of you.
The name we use for our HR seat is taking care of our people.
Like that's the title or the seat?
The name of that's the function of the seat. Take care of our
Maybe
people.
that's your actual core value there.
Oh, I'll ask her. Can we take that? Can we move that over here to the poster?
Yeah, like you're accountable for that entire core value. Good luck. Yeah. No pressure. No pressure.
And, we printed these up on really nice boards and put them in all the locations, and everybody on the ownership side signed them and said, I think we're serious about this.
Oh, wow.
Like something we just made. We also did another one, and it took me 2 years. It took me 2 years to get everyone to agree on this, and I think it took another year and a half before it actually got, there was a typo. It's another year to get it fixed and put up. It was, what is our mission, our vision, and our stand? Our stand being what you will do, what you won't do, and what you may do as the owners of the business. And we signed that too, and then the whole purpose of that was you got to hold us accountable to this stuff. Family is the core value, but this is how we operate within. This is the vision that we have for the company. This is our mission to get there, and then this is the stand as the owners, what we will do, won't do, and might do. And
I love that.
Yeah, I'll send you a copy of it. You can check it out.
I would love to see that. My primary work and the thing I talk about publicly is being an EOS implementer. I get asked several times a year often it's from an EOS implementer colleague, if I would work with the owners of a company, and I get to help them define things like that. Like what do we actually mean what does it actually mean for us to be owners? And that you have that you've noticed a typo, fixed a typo, and signed a document saying that. I mean, even if you didn't do all of that, just having the conversation is massively
Yeah, I think somebody,
valuable.
I want to say the word was supposed to be ask, but the last K was an S, and it didn't work out so well. So it took a while to get those printed again. Ask me a
Oh,
question.
please send me the first version. That's the one I want to see.
I might be wrong, but it was similar to that. Nobody
That
saw
is
it. They're all printed
outstanding.
and signed, ready to go to the stores. And they're like, oh, there's a problem here. How did we miss this? Anyways.
Oh, that's going to be one of my top 10 family business stories right there. Thank you for that.
So tell me, like, in your experience working with families and EOS, what would you say that you notice breaks first? Or what's like, I don't
Mm.
know if breaks is the right word, but what's like the biggest breakdown, I would say, like the first one that seems to show up.
Um, I think you're asking kind of what's the first, thing that's not working. Is that what you're, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could think about it like when you're IDSing for the first time with a family business, what's the most prevalent issue?
You know what it is? It's people. It's
Mm,
the people. It's where do people fit? What should they be doing? And Gino Wickman, who started EOS, was working with his dad. And I
mm.
swear, and I will never ask Gino this, and I like, please don't ask him yourself because I don't want to hear the real answer. I swear he actually made EOS for family business. I
Oh,
really do.
that's interesting.
And then just saying entrepreneurial was, way easier to pronounce than family business. I can never say entrepreneurial. I can't say that word right.
I can never figure out how
So
to spell it, but now that I have AI, I don't have to.
yeah, thank goodness. Thank goodness. So yeah, I can't say my own job, but I actually really think, and he was working with his dad, he was in his own family business, and that's the number one thing. And the first thing we do in EOS is figure out what everybody's doing.
Mm,
And that is the number one thing. I have in May, it will be 11 years since I've done this, since I started doing this work,
congrats.
which is mind boggling. Thank you very much. This is the longest I've done one job in my entire life. It's incredible. But that question of what do people do? I mean, when we start with EOS, we spend 3 sessions, not the entire session,
Mhm.
but we have 3 sessions dedicated to that question, or portions of 3 sessions. And I have many, many times still in the fourth and the fifth and the sixth session, we're still talking about
Mm,
who's doing what job. What does it actually look like?
yeah.
That's once that gets worked out, everything gets easier.
And I don't think this is necessarily unique to family businesses. I think it's more cultural, I would say. And I would kind of ground it by saying like it's an industrial revolution grounding that it's kind of
Yeah.
computers and now with AI, which is just come in and work hard, just hard work. And what I'm noticing in our family, we built the business from nothing. Nobody except with one exception being me and maybe a couple others, nobody really went to school and worked anywhere else. So everything that we've created has just been trial and error, and it works. So next, operationalize it, next one, next one, next one, next one. And when you bring in EOS is I brought in a lot of different help. Yeah, we need help here because we're going to grow. We're dealing with threats, and I have a pretty good vision for what's wrong, but I don't know how. I'm not good. I'm not an integrator, and I don't want to be an integrator. And I know that. I didn't realize that. I was just in a conference probably like 2 days ago, and we were studying how to build business organizations in this conference. And it was like, 90-day projects. It's not EOS, but a lot of the people who study with me actually do EOS. So we were like kind of
Okay.
figuring out how to blend them. And again, that's how I know Nathan. And we're talking about how to build business organizations. And one of the things was first you're going to design, then you craft, and then you implement, we'll say. And I was like, what's the difference between design and craft? And the way it got broken down, and I never noticed this before, and I've studied this for like 20 years. Design is visionary. You're just basically throwing out this big crazy idea, and to craft it means you're assigning real properties to it. Those are the details, and that's basically where the integration is. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm getting confused because I don't think that way. I just design. I don't know how to craft. I'm terrible at it.
That is incredible. So I mean, this is before you found EOS. You just knew these are the things I'm good at, and I'm not good at that. You,
Yeah, but
do
the
you
thing
realize
is
how
I
unusual you are?
knew it, but I didn't know how to categorize and to think about it. So I found myself kind of miserable in certain things and happy in others. And I didn't realize like, oh, I'm just a visionary. I needed EOS to kind of help me sort out why I couldn't move as fast as I thought I could. And I didn't have it's just the right leadership team.
This is you're very unusual in family business.
I am. I get called unusual a lot, but not that way.
Yeah, I'm glad you stuck with me for the end of the sentence. But now this can be edited out where I just say you're very unusual and used against you over and over. Family business expert says Michael Ungaro is very unusual. Yeah, I see the billboard. But here's how you're unusual. Remind me what generation you are.
I'm third.
Okay, I thought you were
Trying
third.
to transition to 4.
Okay, this is so what I see and what a lot of research says is there's a visionary in the first generation. Mm-hmm. Of course, there has to be one to get this started.
Yeah.
They do all the jobs. They do it through blood, sweat, and tears, usually. They're more of a visionary. They figure out how to make it happen. The second generation comes on and says, well, I'm not going to kill the baby of the founder. And they tend to be very operational, or even if they're not operational in their thinking, they just be operational because they are having to compete with this visionary if they try to be visionary. And so then usually by the third generation, the message is just work hard. We figured it out. Do it this way.
Yeah.
And for you to also have some of that you mentioned, but to also bring in your visionary thinking to stick with that's what's unusual.
Oh,
is
that's
that
cool.
I'm going to bring, yes, you're very unusual. It's
I don't
special.
know, like that triggers a lot of things for me. I don't know if my grandfather, I guess he could have been. I didn't know. I mean, I knew him, but when I was young when he passed away, like 20 in my early 20s. So I never really had a lot of business conversations with him. My uncle, him and my dad really were the ones that pushed it forward. My uncle was much more a visionary. Like it was really most of his ideas. Like my grandfather's like, no one's ever going to want to come down here. Why are we bothering with this? But I want everybody to have a job just in case, So he was trying to figure out how to employ family and give them a place to work. But he didn't have the vision to see the possibilities. Whereas my uncle, who's 83 and still there every day, he was the one that was just experimenting, trying, throwing things against the wall. My dad was like, please don't work here, go to college and don't be stuck like me. So I think he was kind of like, felt like I'm here, it's working, but it's been so stressful my whole life. I don't know if I'm happy, and he died, my dad died, he was 56. So fresh on 55, right? So I'm 29 when he passes away. And he's like, we told me not to work here. So I did other things. I did banking, did insurance, went to college. But I hated those jobs. I hated being in a cubicle. I hated having the same thing over and over again. I thought I would be okay with it, just enough money to pay my bills, but I was miserable. So when I had come back, I didn't know where I fit in the company. And he passed away. I left and tried to open my own restaurant because now I'm studying business again, and I'm starting to see all these possibilities that I couldn't see the pathway. And that was a miserable failure. And I came back, like I lost everything and came back. But I learned so much from all those experiences that I could see things that business could do that I don't think anybody else, even now, still can. Like, you've watched our Kings of Fish show where we've talked about it.
I love it. Yes.
When we went on Amazon Prime, and now we're working on season 2, we have sponsors. And one of those sponsors is our food provider. And they flew us to Las Vegas and they put us on a panel and they interviewed us, did all this stuff. And in the interview, my brother Henry was even saying, I didn't understand why Mike wanted to do all this storytelling stuff. Just seemed ridiculous to me. But, here we are in Las Vegas with a free room, so I guess it worked. And it's like, it's part of it. I didn't think we were going to Vegas for free. But it is a challenge, right? Because the family is really, we were all raised to just shut up and work hard. And it was hard for me to figure out, like, they stifled my vision.
Yes.
And I really think it took off during the pandemic. And I'm interested to see what you think about this, not because of the pandemic, but because when a business faces serious threats, like we could be out of business tomorrow. I'm noticing 2 things happen. Either people freeze and don't know what to do, or they rise to the occasion and say, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. Go. And they're like, please just tell me what to do. I don't know. And they'll follow. Have you seen that? I don't know if family business is different than a regular business in that case, but
I think that is a really astute observation. I think.
But EOS helped us do that, by the way.
So I was just going to, in a way, EOS attempts to create that crisis for people. in saying, here's the 10-year. We're not going to do anything or all the things we could do. We're going to do this thing. Oh, and then in the 3-year, we're going to make it smaller. And in the 1 year, we're going to make it smaller. Like EOS attempts to create some sort of, not a crisis, but like take away choices, which a crisis does. A crisis starts to take away choices very quickly.
Yeah. What are we going to do? Pandemic shut everybody down. There's got to be something we can do.
Right. Like you can't do that, and that. What are you going to do?
Let's look at our core values. If one of them's family and our customers are families and we have employees who are families, how do we feed them? How do we keep them working? And so we designed something that worked for that. I mean, it kept us moving.
I do think, I mean, I've heard this living and implementing EOS in Minneapolis. I heard this during the pandemic in general. Then the specific stuff that happened during the pandemic in Minneapolis around George Floyd's death. And now I'm seeing it again, right? So in a way, third time, although maybe second time around, it's EOS gives people, what do I want to call it? I want to call it a water slide to go down versus just like a tidal wave.
Right. That's good. Good analogy.
And it allows the people who are using the tool to not freeze.
Mm-hmm.
That's, yeah, to kind of keep your wits about you.
What do you have situations where you work with families and they're like, okay, well, the business is going to implement EOS, and you have 4 or 5 people in the family, and 2 of them like, yeah, whatever, you guys do what you want. We're just going to keep doing this. It's not just us.
Oh my gosh, it is not just you. Oh my gosh, and I see this in family or in businesses that aren't family business too, because of what you said. Whatever, I don't know, 8 minutes ago, that a lot of businesses say, oh, we're going to do this thing. And then they get 9 minutes or 9 months. I meant to say months, but it might be 9 minutes sometimes.
9 minutes.
And they let it go, right?
Yeah.
And then then they do it again in 18 months. And then they do it again. And the team learns, don't follow them. They're going to give up and they're just going to go back to the way it was. So
True.
For the handful of clients I worked with who weren't family businesses, I ran into this too with their long-term employees. But the special interesting thing about family business is there is that longevity, and a lot of them where somebody's been in the company 20, 30 years and now their kid is there and their cousin is there, right? It's like multiple families inside of this family business. Yeah. So not just you.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's promising. It's tough. There's a lot of family businesses in San Pedro, right? Because so much of the seafood industry came out of the LA Harbor area right next to us. We were retail, but a lot of them were wholesale. So you watch these different families, businesses, and I've always read third generation is probably when it starts to crumble, and fourth is good luck.
Yeah.
My solution to that was you can't make anybody do anything, right? You can't. People are going to do what they do, and they are. You can lead them, you can give them, you can try to influence them, but manipulation typically fails. So I'm like, well, we can't. I don't personally like being in the operations part of the restaurant at all, right? I'm a visionary, so I'm like, we can create a media company. We're going to need IT. You know what? HR's got its own department. Who's running finance? There's a whole bunch of different parts of the business now that don't necessarily mean you're a dishwasher or working in the kitchen or a host, because as you expand the way we have, those things become necessary in order to build a brand. So my offer was, if you don't want to work in there, but your family, you can learn this other part of the business. We'd like you to move all the way up so you understand how the restaurants work, but these other opportunities are there, and it's not just for the family generation, but it's for the entire company.
Yeah,
there's opportunity.
I love that so much for a couple reasons. One of them is that whole, the third generation usually kills it. If they don't, the fourth generation does. I actually don't think it's the fault of the third generation. It's pointing back to what I said earlier. It's usually that founder who says, do it my way. And the second generation who says, okay. And then they keep things around that don't make any sense. And then the third generation is like the coach of a hockey team that's down 10 points in the third period and has no chance. Yes. So lucky you had a visionary uncle, right? So right? Yeah. You like my metaphor. I got to say, I'm impressed that I chose hockey, and then I do believe I used all of the right things. I said third period. I didn't say fourth inning or anything like that. So that was a win for me.
I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't know either way because I'm like terrible when it comes to sports. But I think it all sounded right to me.
So let's pretend I got that right? So third generation, right? You're just way behind. So instead, you got to have this visionary uncle, this dad who clearly busted his butt.
Yeah. Yeah.
But most family businesses don't have that. Most of them have just kind of adopted this, they're stuck in 10 points behind in the third period. So that's what I love all the piece that you just said there. The second reason I love your approach to this is it is often, and it's the thing we've talked about a couple times, it's like, put your head down and work. I don't think that works anymore.
No.
And I certainly don't think it's ever going to work again.
No.
So you're creating opportunities where if there is a put your head down and work person in your family, there are put your head down and work jobs in your business for sure.
Yeah.
And there's lots of other opportunities. Oh, I love this. That is healthy family businessing.
I do wonder, with our story 3 years ago, we're getting displaced, right? We had to leave the building, go into this parking lot situation. And it forced us. It was like we got through the pandemic, and then that happened. But what happened was my nephew handles our IT now, my brother's son, and he was looking at different technology we can implement. And one of them was a QR code scanning system that could integrate in with the point of sale system we want. We could do all these things because building's gone. You got a fresh canvas, paint it the way you want it. And as I was watching how this worked, two things happened. One, customers came in, didn't understand what's going on, scanned the QR code, and a beer appeared. And then food appeared. And they're like, wait a second. I don't have to wait in 6 different lines with my family split up and someone holding a table anymore. I could just sit down and have the stuff run to me. And I thought, and we could get them served more and faster because the lines were so long waiting just to get a beer that most people we found out wouldn't get more than 1 or 2, which is fine, by the way. But now if the food's waiting a long time, they could just keep scanning for more beverages or side orders or other things. And I was like, man, now here's the interesting part. Someone has to run the food to them. So it's not the same service. It's not a waiter or a waitress. It's just they're dropping off the food. But when you're checking out on these point of sale systems like Toast is who we use, you're getting, there's an 18% button there whether you want it to be there or not. So suddenly you have food runners that are earning $200, $300, $400 in tips. But they're not trained servers. They're just running food. So it is still a head down, butt up job that doesn't require much, but technology replaced something and actually created a higher income stream for it. It's really strange. I didn't anticipate that. So I keep wondering what's next that's going to be disruptive in the labor force because of technology. And I don't know.
That's so great. I mean, it also goes to your core value around family too. I mean, now your customer family members have a way better experience. Way better.
Yeah, I think so.
Family members, way better experience. My guess is they stick with you longer. I don't know if that's true.
We just had a job fair last week. We haven't had one for a while. The turnout was insane. We've never had it. It was like 200 people showed up. We had to send them home after 11 o'clock because we can't go through all these applications. Hired over 40 people so far. And there's still people like I missed. Can I come? Now I don't know if it's us or I don't know if that's the economy and it's hard to find a job. But the fact they're showing up and we're getting during COVID and the pandemic, you couldn't find laborers, and when they showed up, you were lucky. They treated you as if you're lucky I'm here.
Precisely, and you felt lucky. Yeah.
We're here to work together.
I wonder what the next disruption is. You seem from my seat to have thrived with the disruptions.
I'm an innovator, so I look at those as I don't look at technology as being a burden or a threat. We got to get on board and adopt it, adapt it, and then exploit it as much as we can before the next one comes.
I wonder if you played a game. Maybe we could play it right now. COVID said people can't come sit down with you. Okay, then you had to respond. Mm-hmm. Then your change of location forced a whole bunch of things. Yeah. Like what could be these are terrible disruptions for your business. Like they were the worst case scenario. What's the next worst case scenario? There are no more shrimp on the planet.
Oh man.
Now what do? There's no more shrimp.
We find there's a lot of other fish in the sea. That would literally be my message to the company.
Or cell phones go away. What happens if cell phones go away?
Yeah, man, I don't know about that one. So is our computer still working? Or do we have iPads? Do we go back to wired phones? Does anyone have one? I don't know. The whole system falls apart.
So now what I've been hearing, the next fad is people going analog. And now, of course, I heard it. And so now I see it everywhere. Like
Oh,
I just saw an ad for a paper planner.
oh yeah.
And my husband found an old Palm Pilot. Remember those things?
I had one.
Okay. He found his old Palm Pilot and he said, what? I wonder if anybody would buy it. He put it up on Facebook Marketplace. People want the thing. I
Wow.
think people are sick of these things that, take their brains away. So what happens if they go away? What are you going to do? It'd be a fun exercise.
I think it was my daughter. I heard, okay, everybody turn on your addictions now. The commercial started. Something like
People are feeling that.
that. Yeah.
So what happens if, I don't know, whatever. That's a fun.
That kind of leads me to the next thing I was going to ask you is, what's the most difficult part of EOS to implement in a family business?
Hmm.
And would you take that away, or is it difficult because it's the most valuable one and they don't want to deal with the change? I know for us it's processes. It's like I was thinking every breakdown I come to is like, what's the process? Well, yeah, process.
Oh my gosh. I will say, I think process is the most difficult thing, family business or not. It is.
Why
so
are you
tricky.
telling me what to do? This is my business. I grew up here. I've been here my whole life. I don't need to write it down. Everybody should just know. Did I nail it all right there?
You nailed it. Also, and I don't care if they sat in some committee or some meeting room and they decided this is more efficient. It's not. There's a reason we do it this way.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's fun. Yeah. The reason we.
Yeah.
Boy, that's the.
There's a
What is it?
reason we do it inefficiently.
Yeah, and hey, I don't want to discount that. There's some value to noticing that, but the problem I see is, man, I was in an AI thing this morning for another program I've been part of, and it was literally one of the questions was if you have a restaurant, and I think what happened was I took the prompt and put it into one of the AIs I used, so it knew I had a restaurant, so it was telling me how to use the prompt to train hosts to be better servers. And I started thinking like, okay, I hadn't thought about using it that way because it was allowing you to have a conversation as if you were talking to a customer. Like I'll play the role of customer or I'll play the role of host. I'll play the role of server or I'll play the role of fishmonger. And it was allowing you to train through the AI for sales. And I go, man, how many competitors do we have that might be doing this without us knowing? And we wouldn't even know that they had a competitive advantage from a tool that's essentially free on the internet right now.
Yeah.
But don't look at your phone. You're playing on your phone all day. Stop playing toy games on your phone. I'm like, this is a powerful computer. It's like helping us make more money, but it looks like you're playing a video game. Okay.
Yes. Holy cow, this is so interesting. I mean, we're talking about process and we're talking about family business and we're talking about EOS. And of course, these other things are super fun. In my brief stint in my late teens and early 20s of working in a family owned restaurant, there weren't phones at the time because I grew, I had a pet dinosaur when I was growing up. But the biggest issue for the owner, from what I could tell, was people standing around and leaning on shit instead of cleaning it.
Yeah.
So what if when the team is on their phone, they're learning? I wonder. Is that what you're saying? What if your team is actually learning? Or
it could be that. It could be, when we had our original location not our original, but the location we had for 40 years from 1982 until, a couple years ago, there was 4 restaurants that opened next to us. And they're all seafood. It was called the Asian Village. That was how they marketed themselves. And in their lease, it said, you can't do what the fish market does. You can have tempura, sushi, and a couple other things, but you can't copy them. They copied everything we did. No one ever enforced the lease. And I wish to think about that. Like, we didn't mind it because we got so busy and it was 2-hour line to get in our place. Give people an alternative. They'll come back later.
Right. Yeah.
But I started to study what they were doing, and I started noticing a couple of things. One is people would complain on Yelp, thinking it was us, but they're actually geotagging to the wrong location.
Oh, wow.
So I said, if somebody really wanted to be nefarious here, you could now with AI create an entire online strategy for damaging somebody's reputation or optimizing one of the questions was, tell me what this company's doing, what's their price margins, what's their most effective part, how are they marketing, and what are the weak spots that I can exploit? That was a 3-second prompt that you could ask AI and design around it. So I don't know if you necessarily have to be walking around looking at your phones. I just think the phone is a resource that we're not realizing. It's not just Google search. It's a lot.
It's so far beyond.
Yeah.
You know what occurs to me is you doing that on your own business might be the tool you need to make your case for the value of your processes.
Oh, that's a great idea. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Like you do it. You find out your weak spots.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Like scan all the comments out there and tell me what the most, like, what are people really upset about? How can we change it? It's a great idea.
Oh my gosh, if you do it, let me know. And then,
I'll share with you.
Then you get to keep fixing it ahead of someone else.
I'll probably have it 5 minutes after this is done.
Well, that was a great podcast. Let's go. I can't wait to hear the answer. Oh, this is fun. You know what? I'm loving this piece of this conversation too. Because again, you're unusual in your third generation desire to go learn this stuff. And what I see as there's people around you in your family who might be rolling their eyes to your face.
There's a lot of eye rolling all over the
based on what I've watched, right? But they're also not firing you.
No.
They're not telling you to stop. They're trusting you. They're getting to go to Las Vegas for free, right? I mean, they're seeing the benefit.
Yeah.
Except when they're not. Yet you are still staying in this relationship, which means they're going to probably keep you from, I don't know, buying a surf shop or something that makes no sense, or, deciding to make a snowman making company that would make no sense, right? They're keeping you back.
Yeah. True.
And trusting you, right? My assumption is, and this is again, watching the version of yourselves you put out there, right? You push on each other, you bang up against each other.
Yeah.
That's also unusual in some ways.
Really?
What I see is a lot of family businesses being willing to kind of make fun of each other, but not necessarily get to the root of why am I uncomfortable? Why do I not like that?
Yeah.
Or come on, guys, let's go. I love what you're doing. I love how you're doing it. I hope more people get to know Nathan Fox, because that guy's amazing. Look what he did. Like look what he brought to you. I hope more family businesses who listen to this podcast really hear how you think and how you interact with each other, because there's a lot to learn.
Oh, thank you.
Powerful.
That's very sweet of you to say.
It's powerful. I'm not that sweet. I'm into what you're doing. I think it's awesome. Yeah.
I had two things. One, I wanted to ask you, I guess kind of related, is what have you had family businesses that have just gone full? I know it's like 100% EOS is like a unicorn dream, right?
Yeah.
But like when you get at least 75, 80%, have you been able to achieve that? And what do you notice about it?
The few that went all the way, I would say the two biggest things I've noticed is they don't have a hard time hiring people.
Oh,
people want to work for them.
Wow.
Yep. And these are, when I think about this, these are two family businesses that don't have like attractive jobs. They put roofs on buildings in Minnesota, which is either crazy hot or crazy cold, very rarely in between. And another, they sell lumber. Like this is not like a super sexy career, although they make it look that way. It's awesome. Both of these companies do this.
Okay.
The other thing I've noticed is their family relationships are stronger now.
Well, that's cool.
It's really cool. And I think it's because instead of taking it personally when someone goes on the issues list or isn't the right person or isn't getting their rocks done, they can just blame it on EOS. And it's not my big brother.
Okay, I'm going to use that one. You know what? It must just be EOS.
It's EOS.
Our implementer now is actually a family member. He's one of the business partners.
Awesome.
Yeah, so they're like, nothing. It had nothing to do with Nathan. It was just it worked out better. He wanted to learn it, and he's got clients now. He's doing great.
Cool.
But it's interesting because as he sits in to implement with us, and him and I have studied different business models together for a long time. So we're kind of the outliers of the family, the way we look at things. it's I think he has a hard time. It's like I already know what the issue is, but I can't solve because I'm in the implementer seat today. So you guys figure it out. Like, could you just tell me? Can I blame you now instead of EOS?
I have had teams who will say, what would Sara say? What would Sara say? I mean, they are essentially blaming it on me.
Sure.
But it is easier if you can. We agreed on EOS. We agreed on hiring Sara or Nathan or whoever. This is what we agreed to. These are the rules of engagement. It's not personal that I put you on the issues list. It is not personal that I put myself on the issues list. It is not personal that I'm resigning. It's not personal that I'm asking you to resign. It's because we've committed to this on behalf, really, in the end, at least for most of the family businesses I work with, the reason they run the business and the reason they run it on EOS is because they want to take care of their family. Yeah. That is who it's for in the end anyway.
I'm just thinking, we should have started with this, but do you want to do like a quick 30, 90 seconds on what EOS is? We've been talking about it for half an hour. I mean, no one watching probably knows what we're talking about. I mean, I've had EOS episodes before with Nathan and some other people, but give a quick rundown of what it is. We'll figure out how to work later.
That would have been such a genius place to start, but why not do it in the end? EOS stands for the Entrepreneurial Operating System. Mm-hmm. It is a set of very super duper simple tools that when you follow the process, and ideally at least 80% of it, or use at least 80% of the tools, or even all of the tools, at least 80% strong, you end up having a crystal clear vision. You know where you're going. You know how you're going to get there. And then my favorite part about it, you end up being a super healthy team. So the politics come out, the hurt feelings for the most part come out, or if the hurt feelings are there, it's for a larger cause, not just because it's Tuesday. And it is actually designed for a team to work with an EOS implementer like me or Nathan for 2 years and then graduate, because it's that simple. It's not easy. A lot of it's painfully hard, like process, like demoting your family member, that's hard. Inspiring your team, having it all make sense. But the tools are so simple, you can draw them on a whiteboard or a piece of paper.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. Now, you also have at least one book that I'm aware of. You want to talk about that before we jump off?
Oh, that's so nice of you. Sure. I have 2 books. I've never said this publicly. I'm going to say it. They're the same book, essentially.
I won't tell anybody.
I would say they're 80% the same book in this way. One is called Start Here. It's a guide for family business succession, and it's made for owners, right?
I think Ben Kelly, he's an implementer too. I think he gave it to me. And I'm like, I already know her. I think I have it.
Thank you, Ben Kelly. Yes, amazing. It's 60 pages long. It's mostly white space. It's a thinking tool to do the work that you and your fellow owners have done to say, what are we doing here? The second book, which is 80% the same as the first book, is called Married to the Family Business. And it's for people like your wife trying to figure out their relationship to this family business. So
you were working on that in the session that I attended, I think.
That is true. Yes.
I remember.
Yes. Yeah, that's my second book. And I'm actually doing work right now to put all of the thinking of both of those books and a couple of personal tools into one book that I don't know. It was going to be called How to Fail in Your Family Business to be funny. But now it feels too negative to me. I don't know. We'll see. But that was the working title for that book.
How do people find them?
Oh, gosh. They're on Amazon.
Okay.
I also have a website, sarabstern.com.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah, no H. What's that?
Super simple stuff.
Yeah, very, very simple.
Hold on to that without writing it down.
Yeah. Well, that's the idea.
It's been great having you on. Great stories. Thank you for taking time. It's good to see you. I mean, I'm not seeing you in person, but I've seen you online.
Yes. It's really good to hang out with you. Thanks for having me. And I hope this is helpful for your listeners. I
do
think
too.
What you're offering is good stuff, and I hope this is helpful.
I hadn't thought till you started it, and I've seen that statistic before, but it just didn't occur to me. Just the percentage of businesses in the country that are family owned and how many jobs they create. And I think even as a family-owned business ourselves, so we still get head down, butt up, and forget. Like we take for granted what we have and what we do, and that we're not that we are as common as we are uncommon in a lot of ways. So,
Oh my gosh, that's really, really well said. It's 2/3 of the businesses in the US. I've heard it's 80% of the businesses in Canada. It's 90% and higher in different parts of Asia and Africa.
insane.
It's huge.
Wow.
And I feel very strongly about what I'm about to say. I think the way family business owners are with each other is how they are in the business.
Mm.
How they are in the business is how their employees are, and how their employees are when they get home.
Yeah.
How their employees are when they get home is how their children are when they go to school. And how children are in their classrooms is how our future is on this planet. So the way you are as a family business owner is you are building the future.
My wife has been on a long-term substitute. She went back to substitute teaching, and she's come back with so many stories that all I could think, when, this is not the same kids you were teaching 30 years ago when we were dating and getting married. It's a generation changed how they're raised. I mean, everybody's raised by an iPad now. It's so different. But at the same time, not 100%. It's people, I think, people are working 2 and 3 jobs and they're just exhausted. That's part of the problem.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Yeah. When you have great jobs that pay people, and they can go home and not be exhausted and depleted by their job, they're going to be a more attentive parent, and that is the future.
Yeah. Well, good stuff. Thank you very much. We're wrapping it up now. This episode is complete, and Sarah, we'll talk soon. Take care.
Awesome. Great to hang with you.